these people that control our destiny as real estate investors are people at the city level, city officials. They believe, okay, there's hedge fund managers like Blackstone that have $7 trillion portfolios. They believe there's insurance companies that are going to drive our net operating income by doing what they've been doing for the last 5 years. The insurance companies are the ones that are most visible today to people because we've already seen an incredible impact. There's mortgage providers that are about to make major decisions that are going to affect the 30-year mortgage in this country. And then there's people who are buying and changing cap rates. So throughout the United States, there's these 5 buckets of people that all control our destiny. They control cap rates, they control prices. They believe, to them, there is no climate change argument. They've already bought into it. Once again, maybe they're idiots. It doesn't change the fact that over the next 5 years, they will make decisions that will impact us in a tremendous way, because to them, that debate is over. So I want to start with Blackstone, right? So imagine you are the largest money manager in the world. You have $7 trillion in assets. I can imagine that a humongous portion of that is real estate, but they do all kinds of stuff. Imagine that you've decided that the climate change debate is over, and you've decided you believe. And so what you do is you put an office together, that basically looks at climate change. And you say, we're going to go and figure out who in the US, who in the world understands climate change and climate risk the most. We're going to buy their data. We're going to set up an office. And that office is going to rank every investment that we're considering making in our $7 trillion portfolio on climate risk. And if there's too much climate risk, we simply won't make the investment. And then we're going to publicly put this on our website saying, we are doing this, investors. If you're investing, if you're part of our $7 trillion fund, you'd better know that we are not going to go into areas that have high climate risk or perceived high climate risk. That's Blackstone, right? Now take that example and replicate it across other trillion-dollar entities, pension funds, hedge funds, quasi-government organizations that are managing government money. And every few months, more and more of these say the climate change debate is over. When we make investment decisions, we have this chief investment officer. That investment officer is getting data. And I'm going to tell you in a moment where the data is coming from, because that's an interesting story. But that group is now making investments based on those climate change parameters. And that's going to impact everything you do in every market in the US, whether you like it or not. So that's really one of the 5 kind of rungs. And all 5 rungs are using data from one source. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Please go to the Blackstone website. They very clearly state that all investments that Blackstone makes are gauged on climate risk. And they believe that Blackstone actually believes in the worst scenario of climate change. And so they're saying, we simply cannot make a 10-year investment anywhere in the world that doesn't factor this in. So it is an absolute, it's not exaggerated. They are doing it. And they're just one example because they're the ones that have been more public with it. And Blackstone has taken an activist approach. They're saying, when we invest, let's say $5 billion into a city, $5 billion is a big amount of money. We tell that city that we cannot make an investment if you're anti-climate change. We want to invest in cities that are pro-climate change. So they are not just using their money to make investment decisions on the basis of climate risk. They're using their money to force other people to follow their lead.